All right, next up is OneNote. OneNote is one of my favorite apps. It's obviously very good for note taking. When you open it up for the first time, you might have to click through some of these prompts. OneNote is essentially like your old school binder. And inside your binder, you could have dividers. Inside your dividers, you could have notes or pages. And so that's exactly what's happening here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a notebook by clicking the plus notebook down in the bottom left-hand corner. You're going to want to name it one of your classes. So as you can see, ChemPhys, I can't put that slash in there. So I might change it to just ChemPhys without the slash. You might notice it comes up with an error, and that's because you can't have a OneNote notebook the same name as one of your folders. So you might have to say ChemPhys 9 if it's giving you an error message. Now that you have your notebook, we're going to go into sections. So that would be like dividers. So I would add sections for things like daily questions, notes, homework, labs. To add a new section, we're going to click the plus sign down at the bottom, and then right after you add one, you can just edit the name right away. But if you want to edit the name of an old section, you're going to need to click Edit up in the top right by ChemPhys, and then you're going to click the pencil down at the bottom. Now you should be able to rename it. Or you can just hold down on the name and then type into that space as well. Again, I would set up your notebook dividers or your sections based on what your teachers say, but if they don't have input, probably notes, homework, labs, daily questions would be pretty standard for all your classes. Okay, so now I have a notebook called ChemPhys, and inside that I have dividers called daily questions, labs, notes. And now it's time to actually take notes. So I can add as many pages as I want within each of those dividers. So when I add a new page and I add a title in, you'll notice that the title over on the left-hand side also changes. So that helps you to be really organized by adding the title of whatever you're talking about. So if our lesson in class was 1.1, then my notes should probably be labeled 1.1. So I can go back and find them later. To delete a page, I'm going to click Edit, and then I'm going to select the page I no longer need, and I'm going to click the trash can down in the bottom left-hand corner. I can also use Edit Select to move it if I accidentally started notes in the wrong section of my notebook. I can just move it into another section. So I go over to DQs and there's my notes. And one more thing is that I can go over and click Edit, and then I can actually indent my notes. So you guys know I love being organized. So I might have my Unit 1 notes, and then underneath that I might have my 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, but that just helps me to organize my notes a little bit better. All right, now that we've set up our notebooks and dividers and sections, it's time to take some notes. So go inside one of those notebooks that we just made, and I want you to create a new page. As you can see, something that's really cool about OneNote is that you can type anywhere on the page. So unlike Word, where you have to have very linear words, this you can type anywhere you want, which is what makes it so cool for note taking. And like our other Office products, we do have the ability to draw straight into our notes. Why I like this so much is I could draw like a cell drawing, and then I can actually type in more information about it. I can circle, I can highlight. So if you're adding good notes, you can use both drawing and typing to create some really neat notes. Like the other Office apps, I still have the lasso tool, so I can select my drawing and then resize it. So, you could draw a cell drawing really big and detailed and then shrink it down so it's not taking up a bunch of space in your notes. But that's just what's really cool about OneNote. You can also insert shapes. So if you were doing a graphing problem for math, you can come in here and create a graph and then show your data that way. You can add triangles, lines. It's pretty cool, some of the shapes that you can insert. We also have the ink to shape tool again. So here I selected ink to shape, and then I can just draw a little circle and it automatically will give me a nice neat circle. On the Insert tab, we have a lot of the options that we had in our other Office products, tables, pictures, all of that. But one thing that is different here on OneNote is that you can actually add an audio recording. So if your teacher allows you to, again, you're not allowed to record anyone without their permission, but if your teacher allows you to record how to say something in Spanish, or maybe the review from the review game, then you can actually record it and have that audio file within your notes. Something that's cool about OneNote is if you click the camera file and it brings up the camera, you can actually select whiteboard or document, take a picture of the whiteboard or document, and it crops out everything around it, and it kind of turns it into a PDF. Sometimes this works great, sometimes it doesn't, but it kind of cuts out people's faces and the glare and everything that would be on a whiteboard. And to me, what's better than that is actually the option to pick document, and then it'll cut out all the extras and turn that document into a PDF. So especially if you have homework or notes or something like that, you can store that in your OneNote folder or binder. I also love that you can insert a PDF. So this will bring up your OneDrive, and anything you've downloaded from, things your teachers have uploaded to Canvas, note pages, whatever, you can then come in and write into those PDFs or documents, or you can highlight. So it's really good for like annotating or anything. If you have readings, trying to answer questions, it's a great way to take your notes and organize it within your OneNote, so not just within your OneDrive. On the Insert tab, we can also insert hyperlinks, we can insert equations, today's date, if you're taking notes, some stickers, so lots of things you can insert. On the View tab, my favorite thing is that you can change the paper color and you can change the paper style, so if you need graph paper or lined paper, you can change that as well. And then my final OneNote feature, if I go back to home, is the checklist. And I love this because a lot of kids don't use an agenda or a planner anymore. So if you click the check mark over on the right-hand side, you can make this whole checklist. Homework due tomorrow, need to clean my room, finish my speech, whatever. And then as you're finishing it, you can check those things off. And so you can keep a running list of what needs to be done and what you've finished. I'm a big checklist girl, so I love it. All right, so those are the basics of OneNote. Again, we can be super organized. We can keep all of these notes. And what's really cool is if you take good notes, they might come back around to help you in high school. Like if you took really good Chem Phys notes, it probably would help you in chemistry. Just a hint.